Hi folks, my perspective here. What you're looking at is the front cover of the LP called Horizons by the British rock band The Greatest Show on Earth. This LP was produced in 1970, and we see it's a man, it's his pupil of his eye, and the one side is convex and the other side is concave. The LP is called Horizons, and it's a evil clown's face. So what is this about? You see, who's this evil clown, and why is the horizon convex and concave in his pupils, and the LP is called Horizons? Why is the horizon distorted in this clown's face? So what's going on here? What did this band understand, and what were they trying to tell you in their music? Well, if we turn the sleeve around and we look on the inside of this sleeve, we see that there's a checkered board, it's flat, there's an audience, and it's a level playing field, but not everyone is playing on a level playing field. There's a man pushing a ball around, the person underneath him is walking upside down, and then there's the man controlling the show right at the end. So we see perspective, flat perspective, but the audience are so engulfed in the show, they're not looking at what's important. They're too busy focused on a person pushing a ball and a man walking upside down. So this is the world that we are born into. All of us, we are born into the system that is controlled. And now we get an idea that these people understood the playing field is a round circle. It's not a ball. And that wicked men are in control of the world that we are born into. So let's have a look and listen to the music of one of the songs, and let's see what we get out of this.
And a place to belong. I knew that what I first saw, something was bound to be wrong. I found myself a real cool world. So come and join me in my world. This is the way that the people will stay forevermore. Say what you may, but you can't help but stay in a real cool world. This is the place, any creed, any race, come breathe the air. Somewhere to run from the sound of the gun, 'cause it's peaceful there. And you will see, you'll be with me. I found myself a real cool world. So come and join me in my world.
Yes, our perceptions and our viewpoints are being managed and controlled by the system we are born into. They don't care if you fall asleep, as long as you don't get up and leave the show. Because if you get up and leave the show, well, their control and the source of income dries up. So to prevent this, they put gatekeepers out to prevent you from leaving. The gatekeeper's job isn't to prevent you from coming in. You're born into the system. They simply don't want you to realize what's going on outside, and you get up and leave. And the gatekeeper, he can't stop you. He can only try and humiliate you and dress up like an alien and entertain you with mindless garbage so that you sit down and watch the show. It's all entertainment. It's not real. Even NASA, it's entertainment to keep you focused on the show. You see, if you analyze what they're selling you or what they're telling you, you'd realize that it's mindless rubbish. So they turn you into a monkey and then feed you bananas for your whole life until the day you die. You see, most people don't realize it and they think it's real. You need to look. Use real eyes to realize. For example, they'll show you these dinosaur eggs and they'll tell you that these dinosaurs, it died and got fossilized inside these eggs. The dinosaurs didn't rot and crumble and turn into dust. No, they fossilized inside the egg. So they'll show you fossilized dinosaur eggs. So a dinosaur laid its eggs in some sand, and the eggs became rocks inside the sand. Do you understand that this is insane? They'll show you a two-dimensional imprint of a three-dimensional snail and say it's a fossil. It's a con. You see, if I take this ball, a soccer ball is three-dimensional, and I bury it in the sand, right, and come back a few years later, and I dig it up and cut the sand in half, I won't find a two-dimensional, three-dimensional imprint in the sand. It's impossible. So this bird's head should be three-dimensional, not two-dimensional. And where's the vegetation? How can this bird just die and there's no vegetation? See, if this chicken dies, it's a three-dimensional bird. Its feathers and the bird will get fossilized, but not the vegetation around. Just a chicken on its own. Yes, so the dinosaur eggs are as real as these Easter eggs. You see, and when the Easter egg hatches, a little bunny comes out. So from very young, we train our children to believe the bizarre. And when they grow up to be adults, they can't tell the difference between these two puppets. So the puppet on the left and the puppet on the right, they're both puppets. My favorite is Dinosaur Footprints. You see, a dinosaur will stand in mud or in sand, and you mix a bit of water with this lion's footprint, and it becomes a fossil. You see, it doesn't matter that it rains after that. No, the ground will become a fossil, and you'll have Daffy Duck footprints on the rock, and you can go and pay money, your hard-earned money, to go watch this insanity. It's just part of the show. It's mindless rubbish.
I found myself a real cool world. So come and join me in my world.
So some gatekeepers will even dress up as pastors and priests and dish you up a big meatball of Bible and science mixed together, so that you can feel content and believe that you have faith. So once you've been in the show and you show someone a flat tray with an upright glass with a level drink in it, and the waiter has no bells and whistles attached to him, it's just a humble waiter on a flat horizon, and you say, this is insane. How can anyone believe this rubbish? This is insanity. When in fact it's just simple logic. You've just been in the show too long. You see, the key is to keep your eyes simple. Simple logic, and look and think. And if your eye is simple, you will see the real world that you live in. And all the remnants of the show you've been watching your life will just fade away. It takes a while, but then you'll see the world for what it is. It's an insane joke. So the key then is to understand horizons. How do horizons work, and how does perspective work? And that's what we're going to deal with in this video clip. And understanding this will help to realize that it's a con. There's a horizon, right? The person who took this image would have to have been in the middle of the image. There was the horizon, right? If his position was higher, well, the horizon would have moved back. So understanding how the horizon works and how perspective works together will help us to analyze the real world we live in. And we'll see that this is just rubbish. This image is fake. So let's have a look at this. From this image we understand two things. Either the moon is very small, or this limb is very big, and the man, whoever took this image, was very far away, which is impossible. You see, they're about to land on the moon. It means whoever took this image, and it's a 50mm image, where you were standing, you could see the entire moon. That would make the moon the size of New York City. If this is a taxi cab, all you have to do is, in your mind, complete the circle of the horizon. Do it in your mind, and you'll see the moon would be small, and they're about to land on the moon. So we have to learn to look and listen. Now listen to Neil Armstrong. Listen to what he's saying. Listen carefully.
And the moon. The Earth is the only visible object other than the sun that can be seen, although there have been some reports of seeing planets. I myself did not see planets from the surface, but I suspect they might be visible.
Do you understand what he's saying? He was on the moon. The greatest planet is Earth. Yet he said he never saw any planets. How could he make such a big mistake unless, listen,
Though there have been some reports of seeing planets. I myself did not see planets from the surface, but I suspect they might be visible. The Earth is quite beautiful from space.
unless he slipped up because he knows the Earth is not a planet. You see, Neil Armstrong and all the astronauts were all Freemasons. So were all the major explorers that we get taught about in the education system. Every single one of them is a Freemason. Is this coincidence? No, it's not. Because the system we live in is based on verbal deceit and visual deception. So recently, the very horizon has been attacked. We are being told that the horizon is not at eye level. And this is not true. Why are they attacking the horizon? Because if you understand the horizon and you understand perspective, the Earth has to be flat for this to work. It's as simple as that. So what we're going to do from now on is look at evidence that the horizon is always at eye level. Right, so your horizon is at your eye level. When you're standing upright and you're looking straight ahead. If the horizon was above you, you'd be standing in a hollow, because the horizon would have to rise up from your position up to the furthest point that you could see. And if the horizon was below you, well, the distance you'd be able to see would be truncated, would be cut off. You'd be living on a really small world, because your view would be limited. So we're going to look at this in detail, and we're going to prove beyond a doubt that the horizon is always at eye level. And for this to happen, there can only be one reason or logical explanation for this, is that you're not standing on a ball. You're standing on a flat plane. The horizon is always at your eye level and is 360 degrees around you. Now that's the key. It's 360 degrees. No matter which direction you face, the horizon is always at your eye level. This is the key to understanding that you're being deceived, that the Earth is not a ball. So we're going to look at this in detail. Keep in mind all the time, 360 degrees around you. No matter what direction you face, the horizon is always at your eye level. If the Earth is a ball, this is impossible. So this man here, the horizon is above him, right? No, he's in a ditch. You see, the horizon is always at eye level. In other words, if he had to elevate his position, the horizon is at eye level. The fact that he's in a valley, the horizon line is actually beyond that. So do you understand that? This person, he sees the horizon at eye level. From your perspective, your viewing point, the horizon is at eye level. It's just that you're in a valley. So the ridge at the top is not the horizon. The horizon is always at your eye level. He's in a valley. That ridge at the top is not the horizon. For example, this person, you see the horizon is behind those mountains. It's always at eye level. So these cliffs and these rock outcrops are higher than the horizon. This is how we see. So if we see an image of like this, the horizon is beyond that ridge. It's far in the distance. No matter how high we elevate our position or how low we elevate our position. So the horizon is always at your eye level. On my left, I have a flat plane with a grid. The grid is casting a shadow on that flat plane. On my right, I have a ball, and the grid is casting a shadow on that ball. Now, if you had to raise your position straight up, vertical, the horizon would stay in its place and you would see more of the horizon, and the horizon would exponentially drop from you faster and faster. Right? And we don't see this. So recently this has been attacked, and we have gatekeepers trying to convince us differently, with little stick men and whatever, to try and convince you that this, what you're seeing here, does not happen. This is what would happen. If you're on a ball, the horizon would drop off exponentially faster and faster the higher you went. So let's have a look. This man is on a canoe, right? Remember, the key is 360 degrees. This man is on a canoe. He sees the horizon at his eye level. He's on the ocean floor. If the horizon was higher than him, well, he'd be in a dip of water. He'd be in a bowl of water, which is impossible. Right? It's easy to understand. Now, if we drop the horizon below him, there, that's what he would see. Do you understand? He'd be above the clouds. He'd be looking at the top of the clouds in the horizon. The clouds in front of him would be below his viewpoint. It's insane. Yet the man sees the horizon and the clouds all level with his perspective. Now, what about an aeroplane? You see, they'll tell you, no, the horizon, if you're in an aeroplane, the horizon isn't at eye level, but it is. So an aeroplane's wing might curve upwards, but it's your perspective. If you are vertical with the ground, you see, they'll say, look at this aeroplane wing, it's higher than the horizon. No, the aeroplane's wings curve up. It's from your perspective vertical with the ground. You see the horizon? It's at your eye level, not at the wings level. So everybody in the airplane sees the horizon at their own eye level, not level with the wing of the plane, because the wing of the plane is pointing upward. The pilot sees the horizon at level. Person sitting on the left passenger, the left wing, and the person on the right wing all see the horizon level. Now, if the earth was a ball, the horizon would be below you. You'd be flying inside of the ball for everyone to see the horizon at eye level. It's impossible. You fly an aeroplane, you see the horizon at eye level. You cannot see the curve. If you say out the left side of the plane, I see the curve, well, the pilot cannot see the same curve in front of him. And the person on the right side would be staring into deep space. But when the plane's level, you can look out the left wing and you just glance to your right. You'll also see the horizon on your right-hand side. This simply means the earth is flat. No matter which direction the aeroplane turns in, as long as his position's vertical, the horizon is flat. You see, for the pilot to see the horizon at his eye level, he'd be flying at an angle. And then if he turned right, what would happen? The horizon would wobble from your perspective. Keep in mind, here's a person who has a camera, right? If he's sitting in his seat and he's flush, vertical, he sees the horizon at his eye level. But now he can also point his camera upward and point his camera downward. That means when he takes his image, the horizon would be either up or down. So I could show you that photograph and say, well, there you see, the horizon's not at eye level in an aeroplane. But this is being deceitful. You see, the horizon is always at eye level. So recently Ken Hovind said it's not, and he's simply lying to you. Even if he wears the garments of a priest, he's a liar. If I point my camera up If I point my camera down, the horizon in that image would not be at eye level. And that's simply what he's doing. So watch this pilot. This is a U-2 spy plane at 70,000 feet. Watch how the horizon always stays level with the nose. Look at the reflection in this guy's helmet. Watch how the horizon in the helmet is curving upward. When the pilot looks left and the pilot looks right, you see this image? It looks like it's a ball. But where's the nose of the airplane always pointing to? The horizon. And watch how it's always level with the horizon. So you're just seeing the distortion in his visor. But here's the image. How can the nose of the plane and the wing of the plane always point to the horizon? So this pastor priest of Kenthoven, he just wants to keep you in a show. He's not interested in, he's a gatekeeper. He's not an honest person. He's lying to you. So he might attack evolution, sure. Well, the rest of the stuff, he's a liar. So here's visual proof as the U-2 spy plane takes off. The horizon is always at the eye level of the pilot, because he's sitting vertical and upright. So even if he points his head down, right, he points left and right, now he's tilting his plane upward, right? So obviously the horizon won't be at his eye level. But if he's flying flush, level with the horizon in front of him, left and right, will be always level with him. So as he looks left and he looks right, if he tilts his head up, he tilts his head down, the reflection in his visor would be the same. But if he moved the camera, now he moves the camera, the horizon line would move up. So do you understand now? The horizon, no matter where you are, is always at your eye level. This can only happen from the front of the plane, from the left wing and the right wing and the back of the plane, because you are flying over a flat surface. It's as simple as that. The horizon proves the earth is flat. No matter how high you elevate your position, the horizon is always at eye level. So now I want to talk to you about another gatekeeper, a guy who calls himself Marais Ziller. And in this rest of this video clip and in other clips to come, we're going to be addressing the stuff that he spoke about. And I'm going to prove to you beyond a doubt that this man, he's a liar. He's just a Freemason pimp. And he's deceitful. We're also going to be looking in future months ahead how this guy's understanding of the world around him is like a 7-year-old. He's got the mental understanding of a hypnotized brick. So let's just listen to what he said. You see, years ago, I've understood the earth to be flat for many years, and it's not spinning for many years. And I did produce some videos discussing this. And of course, you know, at that stage, there were very few flat earthers around. And of course, I was receiving a lot of flack. And I decided to focus my videos on one subject. So in my other videos, I jumped around a bit. I decided focus on one thing, because for people to get this, they'd need to understand one element at a time. So I deleted my old videos and then put up new videos discussing these things. Like, for example, this video clip just discusses the horizon. And this is what this guy had to say.
I noticed that Rory Cooper had deleted all of his past videos. No matter, I'd already downloaded most of them by then anyway, so there's still plenty to go through. And since the content and claims of his new videos differ little, there's still a lot of relevant stuff to work with. Given this fact, it seems strange that he should have deleted his videos at all.
So this Marais Ziller, this gatekeeper, he's very concerned about why I deleted videos. And why should it bother him? That's because he's a gatekeeper. So we're going to deal with the issues that this guy addresses. Some of them are so stupid, and yet he's so arrogant. And listen to what he says, and we'll show you proof, and you'll see that this guy is a gatekeeper. That's all he is.
In the second part of this series, we're going to look at the horizon and what problems it causes for the Flat Earth community. The largest of these problems is that it exists. On a flat Earth, using the right magnification, there should be no limit to the distance you can see things at, which is demonstrably not the case. Not only that, but the higher in altitude you climb, the further across the curved surface of the Earth you can see, for reasons that should be obvious even to children.
Yes, so he'll tell you that the fact that the horizon exists is a problem for the flat Earth, where in fact it's a problem if it's a ball. It's the opposite way around. Do you see how they turn and twist things around to confuse you? So listen carefully.
But the higher in altitude you climb, the further across the curved surface of the Earth you can see, for reasons that should be obvious even to children.
So what he's saying is that he's got the mentality of a 7-year-old because it's obvious to him. But in reality, these people in the balloon, they're not looking down at the horizon. They're looking straight out at the horizon. So listen carefully.
But the higher in altitude you climb, the further across the curved surface of the Earth you can see, for reasons that should be obvious even to children. This, again, would not be the case on a flat Earth.
Well, we've just shown you that it is obvious on a flat Earth. Remember, if this person's looking down on the horizon, if he turns 160 degrees around, or 180 degrees, he'd be looking into outer space. This is not the case. You see, he's either a liar or he's a 7-year-old child with the voice of an adult. We look at this image. You see, this person, he sees the horizon at eye level. If he turns around and looks 180 degrees behind him, he still sees the horizon at eye level. So this Mirai Zilla, he's a 7-year-old child with the voice of an adult. So if you on the ocean floor in a canoe, you see the horizon at your eye level, right, 360 degrees around you. So according to our specialist, our 7-year-old specialist Mirai Zilla, he's saying, well, if you're on a mountain, it won't happen. So here's a 360 pan on a mountain, and the horizon is still at your eye level. So Mirai Zilla is not a smart boy. If you're in a helicopter and the helicopter is flush with the surface of the water, the helicopter, no matter which direction it faces and or how high it goes, sees the horizon at eye level. If the helicopter had to tilt down, then obviously the horizon would tilt in the opposite direction. So if the helicopter pointed its nose up and then turned 360 on that same axis, the horizon couldn't stay at eye level. Yet, a person in a hot air balloon sees things at eye level because he's flush with the ground. And the only reason why this happens is that the earth underneath him is flat. Now we're going to go into a bit of detail with this. I want you to imagine that you're a newspaper reporter, you have a video crew with you, and there's an oil rig on fire. So you've been sent out in a helicopter to report on this event. You're going to take some photographs and you're going to take some video footage. And what you see will prove that the earth is flat and the horizon is always at your eye level. And the only reason why this happens, the earth is flat. So when you arrive at the site, there are two helicopters already there. One is higher than you and one is lower than you. So you arrive, and on your flight, the horizon is always at eye level. You drop your position, the helicopter pilot drops his position, you at the same level as this other helicopter on the lower. He sees the horizon at eye level, so do you. Now you raise your position higher. These other two helicopters stay in the same position. They all see the horizon at eye level. And as long as you're at the same level as this helicopter, you fly left and right, you'll see it at eye level. And if you fly higher, the horizon is still at eye level. This is how we perceive the world around us, in perspective, with the horizon at eye level. And the reason why this happens is because the earth is flat. Now, if I was an art teacher, I would use three things to teach you perspective. I'd use a checkerboard, I'd use a big compass, and a set square. And now it's funny that these three elements are the symbols that Freemasons use to represent themselves. Now, is that just coincidence? Oh no. You see, they know that the earth is flat, but they don't want you to have that knowledge, because then you're playing on a level playing field. So let's have a look at the same scenario again. You're flying at eye level, you always see the horizon at eye level. The helicopter pilot drops his helicopter down to the same level as that helicopter. He sees it at eye level, he drops it even further down. The horizon stays at eye level. Perspective tells you that everything, the smoke is vertical. Yes, so we understand that these people who rule the world are as dumb as Maria Zilla. And if they don't make you dumber than they are, well, then they can't rule over you. It's as simple as that. So
Dissonance is strong with these people.
So he's saying that we don't pay attention. Here's a helicopter, right? Video footage. He's on the ground, the horizon is at his eye level, and then when he raises his position, it's the same. So watch how the pilot of this helicopter, when he levels the helicopter out, watch how the clouds and everything is in a flat plane, how it all levels out. There's no curve whatsoever. Watch. We just have to look and concentrate. Another area that they'll tell you is that ships and boats sink below the horizon. So we're going to handle this issue now. And you see, people all over the world take hundreds and thousands of images, and they don't see the ship sinking below the horizon. They don't see buildings below the horizon. When they photograph buildings from the ocean, or ships or sailboats from the ocean, they don't see them sink below the horizon. So let's listen to what Maria Zilla has to say, and then we're going to show you what an idiot he actually is.
We can also develop on this experiment to see if things really do just disappear due to our eye's resolution, or if they actually do disappear over the horizon. The first experiment we can perform involves getting several different telescopes of increasing magnification and focusing them on the ship moving away from us. If the flat Earth conjecture is correct, then each time the ship goes out of view from a scope of lower magnification, it should still be visible from one with higher magnification. However, when we perform this experiment in real life, what we find is that there is a point at which the ship disappears from one telescope of a certain magnification and disappears from the view of every telescope of a higher magnification at practically the same time. Not only that, but contrary to Rory's moronic conjecture,
Well, people formed the island of Reunion from Mauritius, the distance between the two, 250 kilometers. And people on Reunion formed the island of Mauritius, the same distance. You see, these islands should be below the curve of the horizon. And people form ships coming into ports, And the ships don't curve around the curve of the ball Earth, as Maria Zilla says they do. He's a liar. He's a Masonic pimp.
I find myself a real cool world. So come and join me in my world.
Conjecture, we actually do witness the ships disappearing from the bottom up.
No, we don't. Here's video footage filmed from a cargo ship. Now watch the ships in the distance. They don't bend around the curve of the Earth. They just get smaller in the horizon and finally disappear. Now when the ship takes off from port, notice the lights of other ships passing by. They come straight at the camera. There's no curve of the Earth.
I find myself a real cool world.
We also see those same ships return to port without any signs of damage. We can safely assert that they didn't sink as we witnessed them disappear from the bottom up, contrary to Rory's childish conjecture. If the flat earthers are unhappy with this experiment, we can expand on it further.
So look at this. Pay attention to the clouds. When the ship turns left and right, notice how the clouds and the horizon line, everything above the horizon, all move together in one line. That means the Earth is flat. Watch carefully.
If we have one person at sea level and another in a tower 50 meters up, then both people should be able to see the ship as it sails away up to roughly the same time on a flat Earth, since it's only the apparent size of the vessel that is decreasing and preventing us from making it out. However, what we find is that the person up the tower can continue to make the vessel out long after it has gone out of sight for the person standing on the shoreline. This cannot be a law of perspective problem, since that only applies to the angular size of the vessel, which will, in fact, be smaller for the person in the tower, meaning that they should lose sight of it first. We can prove this would be the case on a flat Earth with simple trigonometry. If the distance to the ship from the observer on the shoreline is the base of our triangle, then the difference in altitude between our observers is the opposite side of the triangle, and the angle between these vectors is 90 degrees, making the triangle a right-angled triangle. Using the knowledge passed down from Pythagoras, we can then demonstrate that the distance from the observer in the tower to the ship is larger than the distance from the observer on the shoreline to the ship, and hence...
Right, so let's just show you how brain dead Maria Zilla is. He's saying the ship recedes from you, moves away from you, right? And then when it gets to the horizon, it now just drops below the horizon. Well, that would mean that the water is flat from your position till it gets to the horizon, and then all of a sudden the water drops below a curve, like a waterfall. Do you understand how insane this is? You see, if there was a curve, it would have to be curved from your position to the horizon. That means that a yacht that is moving away from you would first have to raise itself up, hit its peak, and then go below the horizon. This doesn't happen. When you film a ship moving away from you on the ocean, it simply gets smaller and keeps its same level. In other words, the ship will get smaller and smaller, move up towards the horizon, and disappear. And if the ship moves away from you, that's what you would see. So a ship, actually, a sailboat, would move away from you and simply get smaller and smaller and keep its same line of sight. If you take a large sailboat, for example, and a large sailboat is coming towards you, right, it will keep its line of sight. So let's have a look at that. A sailboat comes towards you, it maintains its line of sight. It doesn't move up or down because the water is flat. Its position keeps its same line of sight. You don't have to adjust your tripod or your camera. No, you can lock it down and the ship will come towards you. So the same would apply, obviously, the other way around. If you were on a ship and you were filming yourself coming into an harbor. So we're going to deal just now with what Zilla says about objects. The ship should actually get bigger the higher you go, which is a lot of rubbish. So watch this video footage, pay attention to the lights.
Anyways, come breathe the air. Somewhere to run from the sound of the gun, 'cause it's peaceful there. And you will see, you'll be with me. Ha 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 ha. I found myself a real cool world. Ha 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 ha. So come and join me in my
Right, so did you notice how the horizon is constant? Now I want you to look at the next footage, and when the boat turns, watch how the clouds and the horizon move completely. If you're on a ball, it wouldn't look like this. Now watch carefully. Right. Now we're going to listen to Zilla and listen carefully, and we're going to debunk this.
Side of the triangle, and the angle between these vectors is 90 degrees, making the triangle a right-angled triangle. Using the knowledge passed down from Pythagoras, we can then demonstrate that the distance from the observer in the tower to the ship is larger than the distance from the observer on the shoreline to the ship, and hence the ship should both appear smaller to the person in the tower and disappear from their view quicker. The fact that this doesn't happen is solely down to the fact that the Earth isn't flat.
Right. Now you see Zilla's using a triangle. Well, a triangle shows that the Earth is flat. His argument should be based and giving you evidence that the base is curved. His angle should add up to that curved base, which it doesn't. He's showing you the reality and then twisting it to say, well, it proves a ball, which it doesn't. So let's look at the issue about when you raise your position. Will the object actually get smaller as you raise your position? Well, if you raise your position, the horizon line stays in the same place. You see more of the horizon as you raise up. So there's a man on this lighthouse. All right, he still sees the horizon. The ship doesn't actually get smaller because its position stays in the same place. Just your angle to that ship changes. That's all. You see, Zilla is lying to you. He's just using trickery. So the higher you are, the further you can observe on the horizon. That's all it simply is. So a person in a lighthouse sees the horizon at eye level. We've already determined that and we've proven that. No matter where you are. Here's a person who formed this lighthouse in Umhlanga Rocks in Natal, South Africa. If you put this in 360, you see the horizon as eye level. So the person in the lighthouse and the person on the ground sees the ship at the same size. The size won't change. It's perspective. For example, look, here's a lighthouse. This light is turning, right? When the light is above your head, it's angled away from you. You see the perspective. When it's vertical and you're at the same level, that's flat, right? When you change your distance from that lighthouse, it's flat. So a ship sees the lighthouse light head on. A yacht, for example, sees the light head on. If there was a curve, this whole point of having a lighthouse would be redundant. Lighthouses prove that the water is flat. That's why they work.
Say what you may, but you can't help but stay in a real cool world. This is the place any creed, any race can breathe the air. Somewhere to run from the sound of the gun, now it's peaceful there. And you will see, you'll be with
Now, did you listen to what the singer was saying? He was saying that if there's a sound of a gun or there's trauma or something, what happens? You run into the theater for protection. That's why they create 9/11. They create all these false flag events to create fear and anxiety in you so that you run into the theater for protection. That's why they're doing it. They want you in the theater. But if you see past that and you keep your eyes simple, you will see the truth. No matter how many gatekeepers they send out, people like Zilla, these are just, they're fools, they're clowns. They're sending the clowns to mess up your mind and to play tricks with your eyes. Just look and think. Stay calm. Stay calm and you will see the truth. So cheers and thanks for watching.